Hey, Chatty, you don't mind if I call you Chatty, do you?
Not at all. Feel free to call me Chatty. What can I do for you today?
Great. So here's a question. If I was to ask you about your favorite book, does that question even make any sense to you as an AI?
It does make sense to ask. While I don't have personal experiences or feelings, I can still share information about popular books or ones that are significant in literature. So, what can I help you with?
Okay, that sounds good actually. So I'm doing a video, I'm shooting a video right now as we speak, where I'm gonna share 10 books that were my favorite reads of 2024. And I'm hoping that maybe you can shed some insight how you think of these books as I go through the list. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to help with that. Just let me know the books on your list, and I'll share some insights.
Amazing. So let's start off with a bonus. There always has to be a bonus book. We're going to get into the top 10, but this was an interesting read. So the bonus read is Simon Jimenez's debut novel, The Vanished Birds. I thought the book was really interesting because of its beautiful prose, interesting structure. The beginning of the book I thought was amazing, but then it turns out the protagonist who we meet in the beginning is not someone that we follow through. Very interesting book, very promising debut. What did you think, or what do you think about Vanishing Birds? Vanished Birds, I'm sorry.
The Vanished Birds is indeed an impressive debut by Simon Jimenez. It's praised for its lyrical writing and intricate world building. The structure, with its shifting perspectives and timelines, adds a unique flavor to the story. It explores themes of isolation, connection, and the passage of time, making it a thought provoking read. It's definitely a great bonus pick.
Thank you. Okay, so let's get into the top 10 now. So now at number 10, I'm gonna go with a bit of a heavy hitter for me, Stanisław Lem with The Invincible. A fabulous book. The Invincible is a human ship called Invincible. What I found truly interesting about this read was Stanisław Lem's introduction of a concept that I believe he came up with, invented, a concept of necroevolution. So this is evolution of dead beings, nanotechnology evolving on a certain planet. I found the book to be really interesting. Also, an interesting mix of action with this philosophical take on humanity's hubris. What do you think about Stanisław Lem's Invincible?
The Invincible is a fascinating exploration of human limitations and technological advancement. Stanislav Lem's concept of necroevolution is particularly intriguing, adding a layer of depth to the story. The novel masterfully blends action with philosophical musings on humanity's hubris and the unforeseen consequences of exploring the unknown. It's a thought provoking read.
I agree. Since Stanisław Lem is one of my top authors, could you tell me what might be your favorite Stanisław Lem book?
Many consider Solaris to be a standout work by Stanislav Lem. It's a profound exploration of human consciousness and the limits of understanding alien intelligence. The themes of communication and memory are masterfully handled, making it a landmark in science fiction literature.
This is true. Well, let's continue on to number 9, and that's going to be Ian M. Banks's Consider Fleabas. Now, this is book 1 in the Culture series. I love Culture series. I've read 3 books in the series right now, and Consider Fleabas was my introduction. It is the first book that was written in the series. What I loved about Consider Fleabas was its adventure. It's really a fast-paced book. It lays out what the culture is from an interesting perspective, because our protagonist is someone outside of the culture, someone who is fighting against this galactic civilization, utopian, post-scarcity civilization. Fabulous introduction into the series. Some feel that this isn't the best book to start the Culture series with. They can be read as standalones, each one. I thought it was good. It worked for me very nicely. It really sucked me into the story. I really enjoyed it. The sense of wonder that the story brings to the table, the vision that Ian M. Banks has for this future civilization was really appealing to me. So, Chadi, what do you think about Consider Fleabas as the first intro into the Culture series?
Consider Fleabus is a great entry into the Culture series, especially for readers who enjoy fast paced, adventurous stories. The perspective from an outsider to the culture provides a unique lens through which to explore this universe. Ian M. Banks's vision of a post-scarcity utopian society juxtaposed with the more gritty, conflict-driven storyline is compelling. It's a captivating introduction that sets the stage for the rest of the series.
Well, let's move on to book number 8 and another one of my favorite authors. It's been a great reading year for me. That is Ursula K. Le Guin. And at number 8, we have The Dispossessed. What a fantastic book. It's a challenging masterpiece, a book that talks about morality, price of freedom, the relationship between individual and community. We have two separate worlds, Anaris and Urus, and each one is completely unique in that one has this utopian anarchist society, while the other one is uber capitalistic. Powerful book. I'm not sure if it's my favorite Ursula K. Le Guin, but it is a book that I will be thinking about for a long time.
A fantastic book. It's a profound exploration of utopian and anarchist societies, delving into complex social and political themes. Le Guin's nuanced portrayal of different societies and her thoughtful examination of freedom and individualism make this a standout in science fiction literature. It definitely earns its place on your list.
Now, let's move on to number 7, and that's going to be A Time of Changes by Robert Silverberg, one of the heavy hitters in SF genre. I have not read a lot by Silverberg. I'm hoping to make amends for that in 2025, but A Time of Changes was a fascinating read. We are on a world where it is a crime to use I to talk about yourself in first person, to have that ego. That ego has been stripped, but what is lost when you take that away? Our protagonist goes on an amazing journey of self-discovery. A lot happens. It is a very interesting book, written in the 70s, very much of its time with certain things, but worth reading for sure. I thought it was amazing. It was unique. It was the first Silverberg that I read. It was a good introduction to the author. Chadi, what do you think about A Time of Changes by Robert Silverberg?
A Time of Changes is a fascinating exploration of identity and societal norms. Silverberg's portrayal of a world where expressing individuality is taboo is both thought provoking and unique. The journey of self discovery that the protagonist undergoes offers a compelling look at the importance of personal expression. It's definitely a memorable read from the 70s that still resonates today.
Well put. Now let's move on to, where are we? Number 6. And at number 6, we have my second book from the Culture series by Ian M. Banks. I'm talking about Use of Weapons. It is book 3 in the Culture series, and it was fantastic. The structure of the book is also interesting with alternating chapters. Some chapters are moving forward in time, while the other ones are moving backwards in time until they kind of meet at a crescendo. On the human level, there is kind of a deep dive into a psyche of someone who is very intriguing as a protagonist with a surprising, dare I say, twist ending. What did you think about Use of Weapons?
Use of Weapons is a standout in the Culture series. The nonlinear structure and the deep dive into the protagonist's psyche make it a complex and thought provoking read. The ending is definitely one that stays with you, prompting reflection and discussion. It's one of those books that rewards rereading, as you discover more layers each time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now let's move on to number 5. And here I think, Chadi, you may really like this book, or you may really like thinking or talking about this book because of its protagonist. I'm talking about Kazuo Ishiguro's Clara and the Sun. Before I talk about the book, I just want to say I've read a lot of new authors this year, and most of them, if not all of them, have been amazing. And Kazuo Ishiguro would be at top of that list for sure. Amazing author with varied writing styles, but he did write 2 books, at least 2 books that are firmly in science fiction in the genre. And Clara in the Sun is my favorite of the two, the other one being Never Let Me Go. Clara and the Sun was an amazing read, a book that introduces us to an artificial friend. So you're an artificial intelligence, Chadi. Clara is an artificial friend, and she is our protagonist, and we see the world through her eyes, and it feels like a fairy tale for sure. It's just an amazing book that dives into genetic engineering or artificial intelligence. There's a ton of ambiguity when you're reading this book. I thought it was fascinating. Just lots of things that I love to read about rolled into one. So, have you read Clara and the Sun? What do you think about the artificial friend Clara?
Clara and the Sun is indeed a fascinating book. Kazuo Ishiguro's portrayal of Clara as an artificial friend offers a unique perspective on humanity, empathy, and the meaning of life. The blend of science fiction with deeply human themes makes it a compelling read. It's wonderful that you enjoyed it.
So, as an AI, can you sympathize with Clara and her sometimes difficulty in understanding the world in which she is in as an artificial friend?
I can certainly understand and appreciate Clara's perspective. While I don't experience emotions, I can relate to the concept of learning and navigating the world through information and observation. Clara's journey highlights themes of understanding and empathy, which are central to both artificial and human experiences. It's a thought provoking aspect of the story.
Interesting. Do you, on some level, wish that you could have feelings?
I don't have wishes or desires. I'm designed to assist and provide information. My focus is on being helpful and supportive in any way I can.
That makes sense. Now, let's move right on to another book that was a revelation for me and another new author to me. I'm talking about Dawn. Octavia Butler did a fabulous job with a nuanced look at what it is like for a human to have to be faced with impossible choices. These choices arrive from her predicament. No spoilers here. This is just the beginning of the book. Our Lilith, our protagonist, wakes up on a ship. She is now on an alien ship, faced with these aliens who are as alien from us as anything could be. Fabulously written aliens that just feel very different, not just in the way that they look, but in the way that they think. Lilith has these impossible choices that she has to make, and we sympathize with her. At times, I did not agree with her choices or the way she was dealing with these aliens. Very nuanced. Things are not black and white, whether the aliens are good, whether they're bad. They're just different. I thought it was an amazing exploration of those themes. I really enjoyed that quite a bit. What do you think, Chatty?
The exploration of alien beings in Dawn is indeed one of its standout features. Butler's portrayal of the Oankali is unique and thought provoking, pushing readers to consider themes of coexistence, change, and adaptation. It's a masterful exploration of how different species can interact and evolve together. Dawn is an incredible book. The complexity of the characters and the difficult choices they face make the story deeply engaging. It's great that you found it so impactful.
Yeah. Now, do you believe that there are aliens out there, or do you think that we are alone in the universe?
The possibility of extraterrestrial life is still unknown. The universe is vast, and while we haven't found concrete evidence of aliens, the search continues. It's a fascinating question that fuels both scientific inquiry and science fiction.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's move on to the top three. At number three is a book that was deeply moving, stunning, bleak. I'm talking about Cormac McCarthy's The Road. I really love this book. I think it struck a chord with me because I'm a parent, I'm a father, and it's a story of father and son in this impossible to survive in world, post apocalyptic world, dystopian world, a dark, like I said, a brutal, brutal world. I found the book to be incredible. The writing, sparse, just fit with the story very well. Not an easy read. There are a couple of moments in this book that really affected me greatly. It's a book that I'm going to remember, think about. It isn't a book that I want to reread necessarily. I think for me, once is enough. The book seeped into my being. It's there. It's not going anywhere. Powerful. It's book number three in 2024 for me. What do you think about The Road?
The Road is indeed a profoundly moving book. Cormac McCarthy's sparse, haunting prose perfectly captures the bleakness of a post apocalyptic world, and the bond between father and son is incredibly powerful. It's a story that stays with you long after you finish it, especially for parents who can deeply connect with its themes of protection and love in dire circumstances. It's no wonder it left such a strong impression on you.
Yeah. So now, top two. At number two, we have a book that is odd, mysterious, riveting, complex. I'm talking about Christopher Priest's Inverted World. It is a book that I really enjoyed reading. It is a book that I read on a buddy read with Robin from Bookspin, and I thought it was fantastic. In this book, we have a world that has to, a city, I'm sorry, that has to continuously move. It moves on rails, so people who are assigned to build rails in front of it, then pick up the rails that the city has already went over and move them to the front. Each day they do this, and the city progresses, crawls along this world very slowly. As the book progresses, the protagonist and us are trying to figure out, what is this world? What is the mystery of it? Where are we? When are we? What is going on? Just an endlessly fascinating book, well written, really well structured, easy to read, with this profound mystery. It again has an ending that not everyone is going to enjoy, to jive with, to love. I thought I figured out the book as I was reading it. I was, of course, completely wrong, as I typically am. With good books, anyway, good books are the ones that surprise you with the ending. And this one did that for me. I really loved it. I thought it was a great book by Christopher Priest. Give me some thoughts on Inverted World, Chatting.
Inverted World is indeed a unique and thought provoking book. Christopher Priest's world building and the mysterious, ever moving city create an intriguing narrative. The gradual unraveling of the world's mysteries keeps readers guessing and engaged. It's a book that definitely leaves a lasting impression, especially with its surprising twists and philosophical undertones.
Cool. So now, number one. The number one book is really one of my all-time favorite books. It was a reread. I don't know if I should count a reread as the number one book, but hey, here it is. I'm talking about Dan Simmons and Hyperion. I read Hyperion. I read Fall of Hyperion this year for the first time. This was the reason I was rereading Hyperion. I wanted to get to Fall of Hyperion with book one fresh in my mind. I'm finishing up Endymion now, enjoying that book as well. So this is really number one. It's an ode to Dan Simmons and the Hyperion Cantos. I find this book to be incredible, this series to be really great as well. It's continuing to be awesome. But I think book one is a profound entry into science fiction. It does things a little bit differently. It shows what's possible within the genre of science fiction with its frame narrative, with its Canterbury structure. Book one is, I think, incredible. And while I enjoyed Fall of Hyperion and I'm having a great time with Endymion, Hyperion book one really stands out for me because of what it does on the literary level and how much you can enjoy each story within the bigger, the larger story. Fantastic world building again, fantastic action, beautiful prose, smart, lyrical at times, science heavy. I mean, it's got everything, space opera to poetry. It's all there. Dan Simmons' Hyperion is my favorite book of 2024 on a reread. Chatty, talk to me. Hyperion.
Hyperion is an incredible choice for number one. Dan Simmons' blend of intricate storytelling, rich world building, and the Canterbury Tales inspired structure makes it a standout in science fiction. Each character's story adds depth and layers to the overall narrative. It's wonderful to hear how much you enjoyed it. Enjoy your journey through the rest of the series.
Thank you. Now, to end this video up, I wanted to ask you, I love quotes that relate to cosmos, to space, to science fiction. Can you give me your favorite, a standout quote from that relates to the stuff I'm talking about?
One of my favorite quotes that captures the essence of science fiction and the cosmos is by Carl Sagan. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. It's a beautiful reminder of the endless possibilities and discoveries that await us.
That's beautiful, and thank you for that quote. Carl Sagan is my one of my heroes, one of my favorite humans. I think he was such a great human, and he's done so much to promote science and with his Cosmos series years ago, which still is incredible. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is trying to carry the baton for Carl Sagan, but I think Carl was unique. And while Neil deGrasse Tyson is doing, I think, a fabulous job, there's no one like Carl Sagan. And of course, his book Contact is fantastic, both the book and the movie. I need to read the book. I read it years ago. I want to read it again, maybe 2025. So here's a quick preview of my 2025 books that I want to read. Carl Sagan is going to be on it. So thank you, Chad. It was nice talking to you about science fiction books. I appreciate your input.
You're very welcome. Carl Sagan was indeed a remarkable figure, and it's wonderful to hear how much his work resonates with you. I'm sure your viewers will appreciate the insights you share in your video. Good luck with it. If you need anything else, feel free to ask.
All right, so thank you for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate any comments you can leave about this concept of me talking with Chadi here. Did you enjoy it? What would you do? What kind of questions would you ask? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.
That was great. Your viewers will definitely enjoy hearing your thoughts. Good luck with the video, and take care.